I think actually pretty interesting couple of people to compare and contrast Robert Johnson and Charley Patton. Because Robert Johnson, I think, if I'm not mistaken, died when he was 27 years old. So he never really got to be even a middle-aged man. And Charley Patton was in his 40s, I think, before he ever recorded. So that was interesting for a couple different reasons, because Robert Johnson always seemed like a young man's blues singer to me. He always seemed like he was still kind of not used to getting hurt in romance and things like that. And Charley Patton seemed much more like a guy who'd had so many scars that he could just kind of chuckle about it all at that point. And the other thing that's interesting is that Charley Patton was recording in the same period as Robert Johnson, but he was recording material that was a lot older because he'd been learning stuff since the early 1900s. So you get songs in Charley Patton's repertoire like what John and his son did, that Runnin' Wild, just kind of things that aren't really blues. They're just kind of really interesting songs. Patton was almost more of a songster. His repertoire blended into a lot of different areas. And his blues were not as tight as Robert Johnson's blues in terms of being the more modern 12-bar form that everybody's used to. I've read sort of learned, John Fahey wrote an entire PhD dissertation on his music, on Charley Patton's music, and you can get very into how there's 13 and a half bars of this and 14 and a half bars of that until it gives you a headache. And then also lyrically, I think Robert Johnson was much more modern in terms of his songs kind of stand as songs. Like this song is about this, and there's a beginning and a middle and an end, like that Love in Vain song. And Charley Patton's are much more from the tradition of, they're kind of, he brings in verses from all over, and it's not always clear what the thread is, what the narrative is. A lot of floating verses that he was borrowing from all over. So this is one that he did called Green River Blues.